Leviticus chapter 26. You shall make for yourself no idols, nor shall you erect a graven image, pillar, or obelisk, nor shall you place any figured stone in your land to which or on which you bow down, for I am the Lord your God. You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field yield their fruit. And your threshing time shall reach to the vintage, and the vintage time shall reach to the sowing time. And you shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land securely. I will give peace in the land. You shall lie down, and none shall fill you with dread or make you afraid. And I will clear ferocious wild beasts out of the land, and no sword shall go through your land. And you shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight. Your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. For I will be leaning toward you with favor and regard for you, rendering you fruitful, multiplying you, establishing and ratifying my covenant with you. And you shall eat the abundant old store of produce long kept, and clear out the old to make room for the new. I will set my dwelling in and among you, and my soul shall not despise or reject or separate itself from you. And I will walk in and with and among you, and will be your God, and you shall be my people. I am the Lord your God, who brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that you should no more be slaves. And I have broken the bars of your yoke, and made you walk erect as free men. That if you will not hearken to and will not do these commandments, and if you spurn and despise my statutes, and if your soul despises and rejects my ordinances, so that you will not do all my commandments, but break my covenant, I will do this. I will appoint over you sudden terror, trembling, trouble, even consumption and fever that consume and waste the eyes and make the physical life pine away. You shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. I, the Lord, will set my face against you, and you shall be defeated and slain before your enemies. They who hate you shall rule over you. You shall flee when no one pursues you. And if in spite of all this you still will not listen and be obedient to me, then I will chastise and discipline you 7 times more for your sins. And I will break and humble your pride and your power, and I will make your heavens as iron, yielding no answer, no blessing, no rain, and your earth as sterile as brass. And your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield its increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruit. If you walk contrary to me, and will not heed me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you, according to your sins. I will loose the wild beasts of the field among you, which shall rob you of your children, destroy your livestock, and make you so few that your roads shall be deserted and desolate. If by these means you are not turned to me, but determined to walk contrary to me, I will also walk contrary to you, and I will smite you 7 times for your sins. And I will bring a sword upon you that shall execute the vengeance for the breaking of my covenant. And you shall be gathered together with your cities, and I will send a pestilence among you, and you shall be delivered into the hands of the enemy. When I break your staff of bread and cut off your supply of food, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven, and they shall ration your bread and deliver it again by weight, and you shall eat and not be satisfied. And if in spite of all this you will not listen and give heed to me, but walk contrary to me, then I will walk contrary to you in wrath, and I will also chastise you 7 times for your sins. You shall eat the flesh of your sons and of your daughters, and I will destroy your high places devoted to idolatrous worship, and cut down your sun images, and throw your dead bodies upon the wrecked bodies of your idol, and my soul shall abhor you with deep and unutterable loathing. I will lay your cities to waste, bring your sanctuaries to desolation, and I will not smell the fragrance of your sweet and soothing odors of offering made by fire. And I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies who dwell on it shall be astonished at it. I will scatter you among the nations, and draw out your enemies' sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities a waste. Then shall the land of Israel have the opportunity to enjoy its Sabbath as long as it lies desolate, and you are in your enemies' lands. Then shall the land rest to enjoy and receive payments for its Sabbath divinely ordained for it. As long as it lies desolate and waste, it shall have rest, and the rest it did not have in your Sabbaths when you dwelt upon it. As for those of you are left of you, I will send dejection, lack of courage, a faintness into their hearts, into the hands of their enemy. The sound of the driven leaf shall put them to hasty and tumultuous flight, and they shall flee as if from the sword, and fall when no one pursues them. They shall stumble over one another as if to escape the sword when no one pursues them, and you shall have no power to stand before your enemies. You shall perish among the nations, the land of your enemies shall eat you up. And those of you who are left shall pine away in their iniquity in your enemies' lands. Also in the iniquities of their fathers shall they pine away like them. But if they confess their own and fathers' iniquities in their treachery, which they committed against me, and also that because they walked contrary to me, I also walked contrary to them, and brought them into the land of their enemies. And if their uncircumcised hearts are humbled, and they accept the punishment for their iniquity, then I will earnestly remember my covenant with Jacob, my covenant with Isaac, and my covenant with Abraham, and earnestly remember the land. But the land shall be left behind them, and shall enjoy its Sabbaths while it lies desolate without them. And they shall accept the punishment for their sins, and make amends, because they despised and rejected my ordinances, and their soul scorned and rejected my statutes. And yet, for all that, when they are in the land of their enemies, I will not spurn and cast them away, neither will I despise and abhor them, to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them, for I am the Lord their God. But I will, for their sake, earnestly remember the covenant with their forefathers, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the nations, and that I might be their God. I am the Lord. These are the statutes, ordinances, and the laws which the Lord made between him and the Israelites on Mount Sinai through Moses.